This is History Myths and Myth Conceptions, and today's myth conception is choose your own death. If you read ancient Roman texts, once in a while you probably stumbled upon the phrase choose your own death, or some permutations of this phrase. Some people misunderstand this expression. For example, they read about, say, Seneca. They see that Emperor Nero ordered the philosopher to choose his own death, and then Seneca, after some deliberation, decided to commit suicide. So these phrases about choosing death, or sometimes bringing death upon oneself by one's own hand, that's not a suggestion. That's a euphemism. It means death sentence. It is an execution by suicide. If you're a person of a certain stature, you might be given this noble option of executing yourself. As long as you killed yourself promptly, your family could retain your property, your reputation might stay intact, and your corpse wouldn't be publicly desecrated. You cannot really refuse this offer, because you will be killed anyway, in a more painful manner, and your family will face the consequences. The party issuing a death sentence obviously could benefit from this practice, as opposed to just killing the person, because theoretically, it slightly minimized the possible political backlash. Technically, the state kept its hands clean. And yes, this idea of political backlash is often dumbed down and oversimplified. There's a long tradition in popular literature and school textbooks of portraying ancient Rome as an absolute monarchy where tyrannical emperors could kill and torture anyone at will. But in reality, Rome wasn't an absolute monarchy. There's a video on this channel about that. And its political system was always complex and deeply nuanced. Execution by suicide was practiced in many societies both before and after Rome. At least one of these practices has become a well-known cultural trope, seppuku, also known as harakiri. This ritual has been subject to insane levels of romanticization, just like pretty much anything related to the history of Japan. But unlike the dramatic portrayals of samurai in movies or in bizarre pseudo-historical texts on Bushido, which didn't even appear until the late 19th and early 20th centuries, well, people weren't exactly thrilled about this idea of killing themselves over trivial matters. And the only way this tradition really worked was, well, it wasn't really suicide. It's always a bit strange when people claim that Stoics in ancient Rome were enthusiastic about suicide, and then offer Seneca as their go-to example. But the very same people will tell you that Socrates didn't commit suicide. He was sentenced to death and forced to drink poison. Really? What's the big difference? Technically, both men killed themselves, because both were given a death sentence that required them to do exactly that. The only real distinction is that, according to Plato, Socrates had the chance to escape prison but chose not to, for complex philosophical reasons. Seneca, on the other hand, didn't have that luxury, at least not without serious consequences.